Well, sadly, the Colts are in free fall, having lost 4 straight, but there's still a chance this team makes the playoffs.
Dom takes us through the Colts' playoff probabilities and what does need to happen to make sure that the team gets in.
All right, so everybody's wondering, what are the Colts' chances to make the playoffs right now? Indy's 8-6 on the outside looking in. They've lost 4 in a row. Not great. That's 8% according to Athletics' playoff predictor for the NFL. Humor me here. What if the Colts win their final 3 games of the season? That jumps up to a 98% chance to make the playoffs. That looks good, right? Well, let's put it in practice here on the ESPN playoff predictor. So right now I have it tabulated that the Colts are going to win their final 3 games. But the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars also win the games that they're not playing the Colts. And you see, Colts are still on the outside looking in of the NFL playoff picture. So even if the Colts win their final 3 games, they need a little bit of help. That could come by way of a Week 16 matchup against the Jaguars and the Broncos. If the Broncos win that game, boom, Colts sneak into that 7th playoff spot, that final wild card spot. Now, if the Jags beat the Broncos, not very likely. They could also get some help from the Los Angeles Chargers beating the Houston Texans. The Colts would get that final playoff spot, that 7th spot in the playoffs. So even if the Colts win their final 3 games, they're going to need a little bit of help from their division opponents. Now, humor me here. If the Colts do not win on Monday Night Football, that percent chance drops to a 40% chance to make the playoffs, but they win their final 2 division games. Now, do you remember those 2 matchups I talked about, the Jaguars and the Broncos, and the Texans and the Chargers? Now, both of those have to go the Colts' way for them to win that game. If the Colts lose on Monday Night Football, they would still get that 7th seed if they win their final 2 division games and their 2 division opponents in the Jaguars and the Texans lose at least once. Following me here? It's a slim chance, but the Colts need some help even if they win 2 of their last 3 or even if they win all of their last 3 games. Now, if the Colts win on Monday Night Football but lose one of the division games they have remaining, that drops to a 24% chance of making the playoffs. It doesn't matter which way you slice it. If they lose to the Jaguars, if they lose to the Texans, 24% chance of making the playoffs. So if you're going to lose a game in these final 3 games, if you're the Colts, it has to be Monday Night Football for yourself to have a shot at making the playoffs. If you lose 2 of the last 3, that's a less than 1% chance of making the playoffs. And it doesn't matter who those 2 games are to, less than 1% chance. Even if you win on Monday Night Football and lose your 2 division games, less than 1% chance. The Colts' best chance of making the playoffs is winning their final 3 games. And even still, they're going to need some help from their AFC South counterparts. We'll see what happens. So you're telling me there's a chance? Jim Carrey was right.